Yo, what's poppin', Gang Talk family? I'm about to get into a real controversial topic, but it's real important because right now we're at a precipice, we're at a crossroads. I see that some black people still don't know what is the right ideology for us to stand behind, and that's okay. There's been a lot of confusion as far as where our generation stems and how information has been disseminated to us. So I'm here to clear that up. Like I said, this is gonna be a controversial video. A lot of people is gonna be taken aback by it and all that, but that's okay. I'm here to walk through niggas with it, and I'm gonna preface some shit before we get it going. So Martin Luther King, a lot of people like saying his name and shit like that. He felt that after the Civil Rights Bill, he had ushered black people into a burning building. The burning building, speaking about the American system. He believed in integration, but again, after reflection, he also thought that some of his ideologies were, off base, and then he also realized that reparations was the right fight. So where do I stand? In the 60s, there was a crossroads. You had one fight that wanted to fight for segregation, but equal rights within it. You had a party that wanted to fight for integration and equal rights with it. Me, I'm a 2020 baby. I cannot act like I have not been indoctrinated with integration, so I won't even touch on that so much. But where do I stand? I stand from the 2.0 version of the Black Panther. So the Black Panther Party was a party. But what they failed to understand was, and this is important for all black people because this is what y'all don't want to understand. They failed because their message, they thought that being that prideful was going to be accepted, which it wasn't. As you see, it became government mandate from the FBI that having that level of self-reliance within the black community coming from a political system, a political party, that was not to be recognized, and it was actually destroyed and dismantled by the government. So what does that say? I'm not one of those that want to say leave America, we gotta go to Africa or something fucking extreme. No, we're from here, this is our country. And not only that, we have generations, not just from the slavery, generations that are indigenous to this land. It's a whole nother thing. So back to 2020, what do we need? We need a financial base so that in the future we can focus on the political base. There are demographics, a part of America, that do not vote. Do not let people gas you in thinking that you need to vote. If your party or your group or demographic has no power, there is no reason to vote. Your vote is supposed to be backed up and substantiated by lobbyists and other things and other logistics that make it that your needs are gonna be answered. You know what I'm saying? So with black people, we own 1/2 of 1% of the national wealth of this country. So why would we think that any of our political agendas is gonna be met if we join a party line, whether it's Democratic or whether it's Republican? You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be real fucked up with that. And just the political history of these parties, black people aren't really privy to. When it comes to modern politics, black people really aren't privy to. Again, these are hard pills to swallow because niggas don't want to hear shit like this. Niggas want to hear like, we've been squared up and shit like that. Nah, we ain't. There's only been a few small groups pocketed around the country that been on a square since the Civil Rights Movement, because their family was coming from the Black Panther ilk, and they just kept getting crazier and iller with it. Let's keep it a buck. Most of the people I'm saying arguing with and debating with, niggas don't come from that. Like, niggas come from that, we shall overcome, turn the other cheek shit. That's why we arguing with our parents and we arguing with fucking contemporaries online and shit like that, because we've been taught that we deserve to be party members and shit like that. This party shit is not for us, so we have a right to opt out. But there's a way to opt out strategically. Let me go to Asians, for example. Since I got people talking about, you need to vote and things like that. Asian people don't vote. En masse, I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about. Some of y'all gonna say, oh, I know an Asian guy that vote. That's your little Asian friend. Cool for him, kudos. in mass, Asian people don't vote. They vote with their dollars. Why? Because they could pay for lobbyists, or they can move and shake shit in their communities because they own shit. So everything comes back down to the dollar. The modern black revolutionary believes in building the dollar, building his community dollar so that he can own some shit within his little community, and then I could vote locally if need be. But voting for us is not the number one option. We need to get our bread because, again, we own 1/2 of 1% of the national wealth. I don't think a lot of people, black people, be paying attention to that shit. So peep the science when I'm talking this type of shit. Don't vote. They don't need your vote. They need your bread. So get your bread together. Y'all need to learn how to maybe, do Google economics and things like that, even myself. But back to the politics at hand. I do not believe we need to vote. I believe we need to hold our vote until we aggregate enough of us on the same accord to maybe create a political party that resemble what happened in the 60s. Okay? So for people that wanted to know my political ideology, that is it. It's not steeped in nothing that is set in stone or whatever. It don't need to be. It needs to be fluid like water. Be water, from the words of fucking Bruce Lee. And that's all I gotta say, man. Gang.